Today, I wanted to tell a story about the time that the universe gifted me with a hunter's bow. Now, this wasn't the type of hunter's bow that you go hunting with. This was more of a ceremonial one that was made authentically by Navajo Indians. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and this is my new YouTube channel called Growing Up Shaman, where I tell true stories about non-ordinary reality from the perspective of a shaman. Now, this story starts off, I want to say back in 2018 here in Bastrop, Texas. I was in my front yard just doing some yard work when suddenly I heard clear as could be Spirit tell me to get in my car and go. Now, I was not trying to leave in the middle of my yard work, so I asked Spirit, "What do you mean? Where am I going?" And I did not get an answer. I was just told once again to get in my car and go. So, being the good little spiritual servant that I am, I decided, okay, fine, I'll go get my purse and my keys and get in my car and go. And that's what I did, not knowing where I was going, just following the path of least resistance with the faith, knowing that Spirit was going to lead me wherever I needed to go. And about 15 minutes into my ride, I find myself in front of a Goodwill. And then I knew right then and there, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I had a thing for going to auctions back in the day. I used to love to do it. And I used this as an opportunity to go see what kind of items they had for auction. And so I'm looking everywhere and I'm not seeing anything that I like. And I'm just about to leave thinking, well, that was a bust. I thought for sure Spirit wanted me to come here for some reason. And that's when I saw this stick that was just kind of in the corner of the auction. And so I grabbed it and looked at it and I realized it was actually an authentic Navajo hunter's bow with arrows. And I was like, how can somebody just, throw it in the corner like that, like it's a piece of trash? It's clearly a very sacred item that needs to be respected. And I remember just having this like emotional response to it. And I just respectfully put it back down and I went and I put a bid on it and forgot all about it. Didn't think much about it afterwards. So I just go home and about 3 or 4 days later, I get that same feeling and I hear Spirit tell me once again, get in your car and go. So I'm like, okay. So I get in my car and I decide to just take the path of least resistance once again, not realizing where I was going. But once again, I found myself in front of that Goodwill. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's Saturday. It's the day of the auction. I should go check and see if I won my item. And so I walk into the Goodwill and I go straight towards the area where they're holding the auction. And I can see one of the ladies who's running the auction. She's got my hunter's bow in her hand and she's got it up in the air and she's going once, going twice. And I stop her and I'm like, wait, 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 what's it going for? And she told me the amount, and it was the amount that I had written down on the paper previously. And I told her, oh, that's my bid. Never mind. And she was like, I'm going 3 times, and nobody else bid for it. So it was mine. And I got to take it home. And I was so happy. I want to show you guys what it looks like because I have it hanging up on my wall. Isn't that cool? It's got real authentic feathers, and I believe that's rabbit hair that segments the actual the the bow. And I want to say that it's quail feathers on the top as well. I'm not sure what the larger feathers are. But anyways, I just absolutely loved that hunter's bow. And it's been hanging up there since I got it. And I treat it with the utmost respect. And anyways, I still didn't know why Spirit had gifted me with that. I didn't have any kind of history with bows and arrows, or well, it's not like I go hunting. And I just didn't know what Spirit was trying to tell me until the other night. I was actually in my front yard stargazing and I couldn't find Orion's belt. And usually I can find it pretty easily. It's one of the few constellations that I can recognize. So what I ended up doing was looking online, looking for Orion's belt, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks when I could see the actual constellation on a map and not in the sky, I could see that that constellation actually had a hunter's bow. And so I started doing some more research on the Orion constellation, and come to find out, you cannot tell the story about the Orion constellation without knowing about the Greek goddess Artemis. Now, Artemis was a daughter of Zeus who had pledged to her father that she was going to stay a virgin all of her life. And she was considered the goddess of the hunt and also the goddess of nature. And you will oftentimes find her depicted with deer or stags and her hunting dogs. Now, if you've been watching my channel from the beginning, you know I have a thing for dogs and wolves. And but what you guys don't know is about my experience with the deer. So this experience that I had with a deer happened about 20 years ago. I was living in San Marcos, Texas, and I lived in a neighborhood that was really close to the Texas State University. But back then it was called Southwest Texas. And so it was very common for me to just run to the track area of the school and do a couple of laps and then run back to my house. And on this occasion, I was running back to my house when suddenly I came across this huge, huge doe that was just grazing in somebody's yard. Now, I didn't change my running at all. I just maintained my speed and I just continued just running down that neighborhood. And as soon as I got to that deer started running with me as if I was part of its deer pack. And so I didn't change my speed at once it started running with me, but I just remember thinking, oh my God, I am running with a deer. And it didn't try to go past me or try to go, behind me. It was just keeping up with me the whole time. And we went the length or the distance of about 4 or 5 houses before it finally stopped, took a good look at me and was like, what am I doing? It realized I'm not a deer. And um, it eventually just stopped and I ended up continuing on. So I just thought that was the coolest experience. And I just realized, and in this time about how Artemis has been connected with me for a very long time. And I would go so far as to say that even for 20 years, she's been with me. And yeah, it just finally it came full circle why I got that hunter's bow and why I've had this affinity for both dogs and wolves and even deer. But anyways, if you guys have a cool story about deer, I would love to hear about it. So leave a comment and don't forget to like this video if you enjoy my content and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.